These might be the best Kyries of all time. What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Stash Trooper, and today we are reviewing the Anta Kai ones. These babies retail for only $125 and can be found first link in the description if they're still available right now. And without further ado, let's get into this review. Off rip, we always yap about that traction. These babies feature probably one of the weirdest traction patterns that I've ever seen on a basketball shoe. It's not herringbone, it's not radial, it's this like weird, I don't want to call it triangular, but I'll just say multi-directional, alien-like pattern. For the materials that make up this funky traction pattern, it seems to be a medium-level hardness, kind of rubber. For most use, that's pretty fine, but for outdoor use, I don't really know if that would be the best. Honestly, I'll be honest with you guys for a second, I'm slightly disappointed just because typically with shoes coming from Chinese brands, since most basketballs played outside, they tend to come with really, really hard rubber. With these, not so much, but again, for indoor use, still fine. Outdoor use, not so much. But enough yapping about the materials, let's actually just talk about the performance of the traction. Let me just say these babies felt insanely grippy. Stopped on a dime in any direction, laterally, frontwards, backwards, upside down, absolutely mucho. My only gripe with the Kai ones is the fact that they picked up dust insanely quickly. I don't know why, or if it has to do something with the traction pattern, but dust picked up like there's no tomorrow. But again, a little bit of wipage, it all goes away and you're fine, but it picked it up really quick. Like I felt like I had to do it every few minutes. But let me clarify, I do play on an insanely shitty basketball court that I think they probably clean the courts once every solar eclipse. So long story short, it's absolute ass. On a clean court, these will probably be immaculate, but on a dusty court, they pick them up like there's no tomorrow. And before we conclude the traction section, here is a quick traction test. As you can see, even on that really shitty court, still caught grip, still perform well. So overall, top tier traction, again, really good. I did have that gripe about picking up a lot of dust, but I'll still give these babies a solid 8.9 out of 10. Grippy! Now let's talk cushion. These babies feature a super simple setup, and that is full length nitro edge foam.
Edge foam? That sounds a little sus.
Edge foam? That was my nickname in high school.
I'm sorry. But no, this full-length nitro edge foam setup felt insanely good. One thing I will say, took a little bit of time to break in, but once broken in, hoochie mama, these babies felt like pillows on your feet. One thing I will say is the cushion setup almost felt like it was meant for guard play. Like it feels very low to the ground, still a little bouncy, but like it's not doing too much. Like some LeBrons, you feel like you're in high heels or something, like you're an inch or two off the ground. These babies felt really low to the ground, but also provided really good support. So in a way, I would say it felt like these were just meant for guards, which makes sense because it's a Kyrie. But yeah, man, overall, absolutely loved it. I think it fit my play style especially really well because again, I'll say it again. I know I'm yapping. I love that low to the ground feel. Easily 9.4 out of 10. Insanely fire cushion setup, especially for only $125. Now let's talk support. Before even mentioning any of the specific support technology in the shoe, the support is already fire. Between the flat outsole, low to the ground cushion setup, and just that wide base of the shoe, support already phenomenal. But on top of that, you throw in this lateral TPU piece, adds a little extra support, heel counter in the back, carbon fiber shank plate in the bottom to add a little extra support and bounce, and then this little strap that, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it does too much. But the support tech, insane. The support was absolutely just absurd on these, and if I'm being honest with you, that's kind of what I expected. Like, let's think about this for a second, guys. Let's think about this. Kyrie, the shiftiest, probably changing direction. He needs probably the most support in the NBA just because change of direction, getting really shifty. So he probably needs the best support in the league. So it makes sense that he would have some of the best support in his shoes. On top of this, something I mentioned in this section, they fit true to size. I don't need to mention much more. Easily, this overall section of, not really fit, but support, lockdown, 9.5 out of 10, insanely cracked. Now let's yap about materials. These babies are made up of a combination of both fuse, some textile, and then a little bit of knit. on top of all the like previous support technology that I mentioned, of course. Overall, it felt pretty decent. Again, this is $125, and I think this is where the budget cut maybe came into account. It does feel pretty decent, maybe slightly cheap. And something I would say I'm not the biggest fan of about it is the fact that the breathability does seem a little sketchy, and I've heard a lot of people say online that if you sweat a lot in your feet, these might not be the best for you because, again, breathability is not too hot. For me personally, I didn't notice a huge difference, but I did notice a little bit of heat in there, a little bit, but overall not too bad. And that was just for the upper. For the lower, like I mentioned earlier, I'll just quickly reiterate that medium level hardness rubber, nothing too crazy. I thought it would be a little harder, but it is what it is. So materials overall pretty decent. I'll give this a 7.9, probably the worst part about the shoe, but again, it's not horrible, it's just decent. Now let's talk about the look slash. In this section, for those who don't know, I talk about the silhouette of the shoe, the colorway currently in hand, and then just any of the other fire colorways currently available on the market. Got it? Off rip, like I mentioned, silhouette. Let me know down below in the comments how you guys feel about it, but me personally, I think it's fire. I think it is doing a lot, but if you know me, I like really unique looking hooping shoes. And I think this fits that description. If anything, I think it reminds me of those like PG 2.5s, but on steroids and being really funky. If I'm talking about the right ones, I'll pop them right there. But I like it. Now on top of this, the colorway in hand, I want to say these are called the Artists on Court. It's just this mostly purple, a little bit of tan, a little bit of white, but that's just the cushioning. And then you throw in some knit pink and green. I love it. If you know me, I love my pink, my purple hoop shoes. I don't know why. I'm just a fan. Overall, love the colorway. And then the best colorways currently available on the market are probably these, but and then they are coming out with this mismatch pair, Bang. And I think these are the only two that are like available or going to be available. And I'll try to have the link in the description for both of them if they're available. Just link in the description if you want them. And lastly, we talk about weight a little bit. I think these babies are slightly lighter than the average hoop shoe, which makes sense again because it's Kyrie. He probably wants a lighter shoe. So I'll give this a solid like 3.6 out of 5. Pretty solid. So overall, the Kyries, between that phenomenal support, probably some of the best on the market, that mucho traction that does pick up a little bit of dust, that insane edge foam, absolutely phenomenal. It just combines for an absolutely mucho you'll know so sweet Kai ones. Absolutely phenomenal shoe, and these babies get an overall rating of 8.7 out of 10, which for those who don't know is an absolutely phenomenal rating. I think these babies are probably one of the best at their price point, which is $125 and under. I don't see many shoes beating these out. Again, like I mentioned, the crazy support, the crazy cushioning, probably the two big highlights of the shoe. Honestly, these are in my rotation right now, and they're probably one of my favorites to wear. If you want them, go snag them, link in the description. And that's about it. If you guys have any other questions, pop them down below in the description. No. The comment section, and I will do my best to answer all your questions. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what shoes I should also review next. But if you guys could like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff, I would appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good one. I'm going to do my best to. Adios.